Hey y'all, welcome back to the channel. So in the last video, you saw the tub finally going back on the 3B. So in today's video, I've got some really cool stuff I want to show y'all that we're going to start on, some cool sheet metal projects, these seats, the front clip's going to go back on. We're going to work on some of that stuff. But first things first, I've made a mistake and I got to show y'all what it is. All right, y'all, so if you follow on Instagram, you probably already know what this mistake is. But if you'll notice, my lines are running from my caliper to my frame now, whereas before they were running caliper to axle. And the reason for that is I had my hard line run right across the top of this. Well, guess what goes right on top of this? This is your bump stop location. So had I left my lines there, if this axle ever made it all the way up to the bump stop, I would have smushed my brake line. So what I've changed, I actually took the tabs that I had on my axle and I just moved them up to the frame, and it actually ended up a lot better than the way I had it before. I'm actually a lot happier with this design. The little bit of rub I had before, I don't think I have to worry about any of that now. I took the hose guard and the shrink wrap I had on there off because I don't think I need it anymore. I think this is a lot better setup. I know it looks kind of crazy having these lines just out here like this, but if you look it up, this is how a lot, if not most or all, of modern vehicles run their brake lines. They just kind of come off the wheel over to the frame. If you think about it, you're going to have so much protection before anything gets to that brake line. It's going to be very unlikely anything ever snags on it. If it does, these are very tough. They're made to take a little abuse. All right, so that shows y'all what's happened here. All this obviously is gone. My little T that was down here is gone. The hose running up. So let me show y'all what changed plumbing wise. All right, so you can see now I'm coming off my proportioning valve up to that T that I just kind of mounted through the frame right here. So the supply line comes from the proportioning valve up into that T. Then I have the hard line going down. You can see it right there going under the motor mount. That's feeding this brake hose right here. This top one that loops back on itself, it ends up kind of following the same path I had before. And you can see how I'm using these saddles. These are great. I would highly recommend these saddles. And then it runs down, around, and into this brake line. So essentially, instead of running a hard line all the way to this hose that teed off here, we're just taking the T all the way back to the beginning pretty much, coming straight off our supply from the proportioning valve, splitting it right there, and then running to our hoses. I like this a lot better. I think it looks way cleaner, and I think it's a lot better setup than what I had before. The reason I had it this way before, I like the idea of it looking semi-stock, like following the original path, but I think at the end of the day, this is going to be the better setup. So, all right, so let's talk about these seats real quick. So these are like 80 something model Bronco seats. I found these in the junkyard. It's like 75 bucks for the pair. I pulled them. So they're really cool because like the Bronco, the passenger side is made to flip up so you can get in the back of the Bronco. And then the driver's side has the seat bracket built in where you can adjust the seat. It's got the slides built in. So I'm going to try and utilize that if I can. Now you can see the passenger side is sitting way higher than the driver's side. And I'm going to have to figure out some way to get that passenger side down lower, which might mean losing the Bronco bracket, which is not a deal breaker. You know, I have the brackets in the floor from the original seat. If I could adapt that to use those so I could still get to my toolbox, you know, there's a lot of options here, and I'm just going to see what's going to work out the best. Just kind of feel my way through it and see what I like. These are the seats I plan on running in this Jeep for now anyways. I think they look really cool. I love the low back bucket or mid back, whatever you want to call them. They're a good price. I think they fit the Jeep well, and I really like the look. So you can kind of see where this driver's side seat ends up at. Pretty much pressed all the way up against this fender right here. So what I'm planning to do as far as leg room, because there's not going to be a bunch of leg room here, and I'm like 6'4", so I need to figure out a way to get as much room in this Jeep as I can. So a really popular thing to do now is you can actually take this corner, scoot that forward. So you can actually take this whole section, cut it off like right here at the end of this corner and back. And that'll be great too, because I need to get rid of this hole somebody torched out. So you take that whole panel, then you cut another like 3-4 inch section here, slide this whole panel back and weld it all together, and then you'll have a little filler panel down here. But then that gives you the option to scoot this seat another 3 or 4 inches back, which really helps taller guys fit in these little Willys Jeeps. I'm gonna end up doing the same thing over here with the passenger side. Do the fender notch. I want my seats level and, you know, in line with each other. I want them to look symmetric and look good. So there's y'all a little inside scoop on what the seats are gonna be in this thing. I think these are gonna look killer, and they're gonna be super comfortable and give me and the passenger plenty of leg room. All right, y'all, so this is one of the new projects I'm kicking off in this video. This is gonna be my custom dash layout. So right here, this is CJ5 dash parts. This CJ5 dash was super rusty, don't worry. I didn't cut up a good dash. Somebody was already parting it out. They sold me the dash super cheap because it's so rusty. I took the good pieces out of it that I wanted. So this is like the louvered piece where your speakers would go for your radio. There's one over there too with the glove box. So this is the glove box out of the CJ5. And you know, if you look at like a M38 or really any of the military versions of these Willys Jeeps, seems like they all had a glove box. I don't know why the civilian models never got the glove box. So that's something I really wanted to add, have a little bit of storage besides the underseat storage. You know, something more accessible. All right, y'all. So before you start hacking up your dash to put a glove box in it like I'm about to do, let me just say, don't do it, okay? Don't cut up a CJ dash. This is one of those golden rules of the CJ life. From the MBs to the CJ7s, the flat CJ dash is so iconic. So don't go hacking at it with a hole saw or putting a radio in it with a butter knife and a dull spoon. Don't hack up your dash, okay? The only reason I can kind of justify doing this, which I still feel guilty about doing this, is because mine's already super hacked up. It's got all those extra gauge holes and everything. Somebody's already messed this dash up. That's why I don't feel as guilty about doing this. Now, I'm gonna do this in such a way that it can be reversed, because if I hate this idea, if it ends up looking awful, I can just go back, repair the dash, you know, nobody will ever. All right, so that kind of gives y'all a little sneak peek of what to expect next on this Jeep. The dash is just a fun project. I think it's gonna be really cool. And sometimes you gotta take a break from all this technical stuff and just kind of have, you know, an easy win, something fun to do, something, you know, you can see the end product a lot quicker than like the brake system was or something like that. The seats are actually kind of a priority, because I need to figure out where those seats are gonna be at, to figure out where my steering column is going to be at before I can do my steering setup. So those are kind of high up on the list right now. If you didn't see my junkyard Jeep parts hunting video, I encourage you to go back and check that out. I was hunting like a telescoping steering wheel. I think those are all long gone or crushed or whatever. But I've got something really cool on the way. I think y'all are going to like it. It's something y'all can pick up. They're super common, and I think it's really going to look good in this Jeep. Now, I want to go ahead and put all this front clip back on: the hood, the grill, the windshield. I want y'all to see what this Jeep is going to look like when it's all finally back together. There it is, y'all. What do you think? I think it looks pretty stinking cool. The height's just right. The stance is good. Where the tires land at. The patina on this Jeep too is just, it's perfect. I mean, at first I thought I was gonna do a bunch of body work and paint it. But now I've just fell in love with all the different colors and the rust and the old hand pinstripe, these old Thrush muffler decals. This actually came off of that MG3B thing I talked about in my first Willys video. I'll throw a picture of that up there so y'all can see it again. The color on this grill, I mean, it blends together so good. It looks good. The hood needs a little work though. It looks like it's been on fire at some point. So it's kind of deformed, and then it's got these really cool hand-painted decals on it though. And then there's a Thrush decal on each side of it. I accidentally spilt some oil on it the other day. That's why it looks like that. I do want to add some kind of bracing underneath it, some kind of inner structure, because this is really common on these Willys Jeeps. The seam right here will just, you know, start splitting like that. So I want to fix that. I think I'm going to go with 2 hood latches. I know it's not stock, but with these bigger high hoods, I think it'll help keep some vibration and noise down. I went through all the trouble of bolting all this back together as best as I could, because there's some things I need to fix while the body's all together, while the front clip's all together. This fender is one of the worst spots. All this is rusted out down through here. You can see there's nothing left to even bolt it to the grill. All the bolts in the grill on this side have snapped off from just being old and rusty. There's some chunks back here missing I need to put back in. The other fender I already started on. I've already welded some patches to it. It still needs more work. And then neither side has these inner fender supports that go down to the frame. I was looking, you can actually get those reproduction pretty cheap. It's like 50 bucks for the pair. But I've also seen some guys on Instagram really make some cool custom ones, so I'm not sure what I'm going to do about that yet. This windshield frame at some point will need some attention too. You can see out of it filled with water and rusted and busted, or if this was froze and somebody pushed on it too hard. Either way, this is something that's going to need a little attention. It's not as big of a deal right now as like the fenders are though. All right, y'all, so the main thing I wanted to show y'all in this week's video is what this Jeep is going to look like when it's all put back together and done. I think it's going to look killer. I'm so happy with my choices up to this point, with the tire and wheel combination, the suspension components. It's all coming together and I think it looks really good. You got a little sneak peek in this video. You know, what's happening with the seats, the custom dash. We're going to be doing some metal work. I've got some components to finish the gas system back here. There's some other stuff too. Y'all are just going to have to wait and see. And if you like surprises, head on over and follow me at 7 Bar Salvage on Instagram, and you'll get exclusive content, see more day-to-day updates instead of just one video on Thursdays. I know a bunch of y'all are waiting to see what's happening with the Junkyard Scout. If you watch my Junkyard video, you'll see I found some Jeep CJ5 springs that I think will work on the Scout. If not, I have a lead on some actual Scout springs. It really comes down to the money and when I can go get them. The Scout just doesn't have the budget this Jeep has right now. I really want to have this Jeep done, ready to go for this summer. I've been working on this thing over a year and I really want to drive it this year. I appreciate y'all checking out this week's video. I encourage you to like, comment, subscribe. Let me know down below what you think, or what do you want to see on this channel? What am I doing right? What am I doing wrong? I appreciate all y'all's feedback. Y'all are great. And it just makes the channel better, it makes the Jeep better, and I really appreciate it. So I hope y'all enjoyed it, and I'll see y'all next time.